right now, I don't think I want to take on necessarily as a city council. We're not close enough to the grid. We're not close enough to the customer to be able to manage those kind of decisions. And I can invite Mark or others to come up and discuss other aspects, but those two right there are huge. Rates and service are the two things that I've been arguing about over and over and over again. That I think are better served in the hands of a functioning EUB or Board of Utilities with decision-making authority, and that's where the distinction is between the arguments that I've been making and the arguments that Chris and yourself have been making with regard to an advisory board.
So
Ryan, I'm sorry, go ahead.
what is it that you don't trust about yourself in making rate decisions?
I'm not an electric guy.
I'm just saying,
Larry, I'm not an
you're not a
electric
sewer guy either, but you make decisions on sewer purchases.
Actually, I don't make decisions on sewer. Brian, we
you
take
do.
a recommendation of Brian on that.
Well, we get recommendations, and you
Why
make
wouldn't we
decisions.
take a-
You're either aye or nay. So
Why wouldn't you take the recommendation from an advisory board?
I'll be honest. I think that a Board of Utilities ultimately would be the way to go. We just aren't ready to do that right yet. For everything, including water and wastewater.
Ryan, with the rates, with the way the state statute is around budgets, what does that do for, I mean, can you still charter ordinance out of rate setting?
Yep.
Okay. So if we control the budget and approve the budget, we're in essence controlling and approving any rate increases
I
as
mean,
well, right?
there's no way you can take that away. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I mean,
totally.
you're still,
Yes.
when they bring the budget forward, it's going to have a rate increase in it. So you're still, you may not be creating an ordinance to approve it, but you're still approving. If you turn that budget down, then, okay, you're turning down rate increases, right? So it's not, I mean, basically, you're administratively, you're allowing them to control, or you're allowing them to not have to bring an ordinance forward. But with the control of the budget, you're still approving or disapproving rate increases.
I think that's accurate, and I think if you look at my memo, I kind of touch on that the different provisions of 2296 under 1.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It says the EUB ordinance at section 3A dictates that the EUB establish the annual budget for utility operation. Also includes authority to engage in all attendant activities which affect the budget, i.e. create revenue, set rates, and expend revenue, expenditure of funds. So to the extent that, the setting of rates affects budget, I mean, they got to work hand in hand.
So I guess, maybe to kind of, I don't know what the next steps are. This is my opinion. I do not believe going back, and I would rather spend time looking at the things that we like with the existing EUB, the purchase, whatever those things are, and spend time looking at those and saying, okay, does this make sense for all city departments? Then to spend time looking once again at kind of an ordinance that's going to give us, in my opinion, the same thing that we saw with an advisory board, and then not really get anywhere again.
Why don't we just go back to the ordinance as it was written? If we get just one more vote, we could just try to use them as an advisory board. I mean, we could always go back. We could even incorporate the BPU, but let's see if we screw it up first. I know individually, if I asked each of you, are you competent decision makers and competent leaders, you would individually say, well, heck yes, that's why I'm here. That's why I volunteered for this job. But somehow we don't trust each other to work together. We make all these other good decisions, and we can't take the same job that we have with wastewater and water and make it work for the electric. I mean, why can't we do that?
With all due respect, Larry, and I'm not meaning this as a disrespectful comment, but I think that there are many circumstances within the recent history of this city where the city council has made bad decisions.
Of course, and you know how the citizens fixed that? They voted other people in, right? I mean, there's some people that were on here that aren't here that tried to get on again, and that's how they fix it. Every 2 years, they have that opportunity. And you don't have that opportunity with a board that has the power that you've granted them. And actually, you haven't granted it to them. The state hasn't even granted it to them. So let's just try to get that ordinance the way it was written, and just see if we can competently manage this utility like we competently manage the police department, lead, I guess, or make the decisions on behalf when they come to us, or the Public Works Department, or Community Development, or Finance. All those people come to us and ask us, they give us decisions to make, they give us the information, and so far, we've moved forward. Let's just try it. What's the worst that could happen? We give it back to them later. It'll be written about in the newspaper how badly the city council and governing body screwed this up again. Because really, all of your BPU stuff all had to do with a small period of time when we had a largely dysfunctional, well, it wasn't even dysfunctional, it was dictatorial governing body, where we had 4 appointed council members and a very strong mayor. Who had 18 years of experience.
And who's to say that couldn't happen again?
Well, it can happen, but we fixed it, didn't we?
Okay.
We did. The
No.
citizens of Gardner fixed that problem. And that's why you're here.
And that's what,
And the fact that we're having this kind of dissension tells,
Well, but we agree that we're competent people individually, but somehow, on this one issue, not police, not sewer, not water,
Not Parks and
not
Rec.
Finance, not Parks and Rec, sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to slight you there.
Yeah.
Not community development, all those things we do fine, but somehow, volts and amps escapes our ability to make good decisions. It just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
we do have one of the Gardner Energy employees, David Frank, longtime energy employee. David, it sounds like you've got a comment. Now, and I'm going to remind you that in the chain of command, you
There's
want
no
to be
respect.
careful.
I know, but there's no respect to the council, Bob. I've been here for 37 years.
Yes.
2 years we'll have a good council. 2 years we'll turn around and say, oh, God. And it screws everything up. Since I've been here, the EUB has been able to control our cost and control rates. Before the EUB, 37 years, we were averaging close to 4 to 5% a year increases. What the people in the city want, and I'm one of them, I'm a voter, is to get things settled down.
Stable utility
Stable
bill.
utilities. If you go underneath the charter orders and also go with the, what do I say here? Putting all 3 underneath the board, then we can start doing that. Each utility can help each other. Because then they're going to be underneath one board, they're going to see the problems, and it can be fixed.
And I agree with you.
And then the overflow of the money. Now, you may think we got a lot of money in there, but one disaster can hurt us. And it takes a long time for FEMA to get it back in here. And FEMA takes 2 to 3 years sometimes to start getting your money. We can't wait that long. The citizens of Gardner can't wait that long.
We have insurance that would get us.
Sometimes insurance doesn't cover everything.
Well, you can't insure every risk.
That's right.
Understand.
But I'm just saying, a disaster.
A tornado like in, is it Greensburg, Kansas?
Yeah.
Their insurance didn't cover anything.
I don't know about that.
I do. Their insurance didn't cover anything. And they're still waiting for a lot of their money from FEMA.
Well,
And that is what we're trying to protect. Their rates almost doubled out there, just to take care of what's going on right now.
Well,
Now, if our rates doubled, you're going to have all kinds of people up here arguing and fighting. What did you guys do? The charter ordinance would take care of the problem right now. Then you can go back and re-amend it and take care of everything. That's 37 years of experience. Not just 3 or 4. I've been working for this city longer than probably you guys have been alive.
Well, Matt, thank you.
I was serving my country
Appreciate that.
before you guys even thought about it.
yeah.
So let's get things going.
So are you saying, how many of those years, out of 37 years, are you saying that the governing body did not do their job? And
Oh, there's several, at least 70%.